What's up, guys? So the purpose of this video is to kind of show you guys two projects I've been working on this last week and also kind of do a revisit on the AI tools and workflows I use each day. So first, the project I've been working on the most, which is going to be a multi-week project. I wasn't able to complete it for this video, but I'm in the process of doing it right now and testing it. The first one is a terminal with CMUX, which has an agent orchestration layer built into it. So I'll show you guys the two repos I've been using for this. First, CMUX. This is an open source terminal platform that just allows you to have split panes, run Claude Code, Codex, whatever CLI agent you want to use. Next, Overstory. I want to give Jamin West a shout out. This is the agent orchestration repo I'm using for the backend of this terminal. It allows agents to share context, send messages back and forth to each other, and it has the orchestrator to builder, reviewer, researcher hierarchy where you have one agent sending messages and controlling the rest of the agents as well. This allows you to run, 10, 20, maybe more agents on one project and have them run for longer and run them more autonomously without human input. I chose this as the backend because I'm a big fan of Jamin West on YouTube. I watch his videos and his Overstory repo is very robust, and I wanted to use the best possible orchestration I could as a backend for the CMUX terminal front end. So if we take a look at what I have so far, here's the CMUX terminal window on the left, and here's the sidebar controlling Overstory on the right. So if we go in here, we launch a 3-team small team agent. This is what happens. So we see these 3 terminal panes appear right here. It takes a second for it to ask for desktop access. Then we approve these. Don't allow. Apologize. Let me skip through these real quick. So I just had to allow this developer portal to have access to other apps, my files, etc. It does this upon every reload. But now that we have this open, here's the coordinator agent up top, and we have 2 builders down below. Here we go. I have a prompt from Claude Code that I'm going to use as a test to show you guys how this works. So what I'm going to do is give this agent this prompt, and this will tell him to communicate with both builders and have them send a message back. So he's going to read his instructions, the Overstory coordinator. He's going to send a message through Bash, through OVSling to this agent. Great. Both agents got the message. Now they should send a message back to the coordinator. Let's see. Yep, so now the coordinator received 2 messages from each builder. So this is kind of the framework for how this orchestration is going to work. You have the coordinator and you have the 2 builders, and they all communicate with each other. You can see the mail over here, what they send between each agent, a list of agents. You can choose a custom count, and token tracking will be a feature eventually. Another aspect to this project that I want to implement is Claude Code channels. Now, if you guys don't know, Claude Code channels allows you to communicate with your Claude Code session using external apps. So for example, right here, I have a Claude Code channel that talks to my Telegram, where they can receive messages from Telegram. So it's listening from channel messages from plugin Telegram at Claude, plugins official. Now, how this works is if I leave my room with my laptop on and walk to the dining hall, for example, I can text Claude Code. As long as my laptop is running, I can text it messages from my phone. It's going to receive those messages and it can operate autonomously. So let's open up Telegram right here, and I'll send a test message. If it doesn't work, it's just because it needs to be nudged real quick. Let me say hello. Yep, here we go. So it received hello from Telegram. It's running. It's going to reply. So if you take a look, here's my Telegram conversation with Claude Code. When do I use it? I use it if I'm walking somewhere and I have some more ideas and I want to communicate with it virtually. Also, I have a few Claude skills set up to ping me through Telegram whenever it finishes an action. For example, I have an X bookmark scraping skill that runs whenever I want it to, and it takes about 5-10 minutes for it to finish. So if I use this skill, I have Claude send me a message in Telegram to get that ping on my phone or my laptop whenever it finishes. And this allows me to kind of set and forget when I'm doing these long running skills. As far as Claude channels go, what I envision is being able to have a second coordinator that is using Claude Code channels that I can text and have that agent delegate tasks to different Claude Code terminals from my phone. And the reason why I think this is important and useful is because if you use Claude Code channels with Telegram, all you have is one terminal. So you have one session, and if you have 5 different, completely different ideas for in different tasks, you don't want to dump it all into one Claude Code agent because it's going to use the wrong tools, it's going to mess the context up. If you can use this type of framework with Claude Code channels, I could tell the agent spawn a terminal and then do this, and then here are 3 more terminal ideas. So, manage these 4 different tasks at once, these 4 different terminals doing completely different things and giving me access to more than one terminal via Telegram. I hope that made sense, but my vision is being able to control multiple terminals with just one Telegram Claude Code agent. But back to Claude Code. If you want to open up Claude Code using channels, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to show you guys the command here. Let me just copy it from a different window. It's Claude -- channels plugin equals Telegram Claude plugins official. That's how you get it to run with channels activated. And for best use, I would recommend opening it with dangerously bypass permissions as the best format, because that way Claude can act on your behalf and do whatever it needs to do. So next, I want to show you guys the other project I've been working on this week for a few days. It's called Snapper. It's a screenshot app. The reason I wanted to build this app is because when I'd be coding with AI, I would screenshot things to drop into the context to show the AI what's going on. And I would lose the screenshot because it would appear in the corner of the screen and it would quickly go away before I could get to it or get the AI window open. So I built Snapper. Let's give it a run here. So here's how it appears. It appears on the right-hand side of the screen towards the bottom. You have your most recent screenshots. You can scroll through them to see what the most recent screenshots are. They're labeled by app, and you can drag and drop, or you can click here to copy to your clipboard. Currently, it's already in my workflow. I use this as I code daily, and it's a great little screenshot editor, much nicer than the default one, in my opinion. At some point, if I finish it, I'll drop a link to a GitHub repo where you guys can try it yourselves. But, I could have found an online third-party screenshot app, but I felt like it'd be more fun to just do it myself and learn along the way. Same with the agent orchestration software. It's like I could have found a repo or an open source project that does the exact same thing, but I want to make it my own and learn a lot doing it and make it how I want to make it. I have some really cool ideas for features once we have the MVP working. For now, it's a great project for me to learn, get better at coding, or should I say vibe coding, and using these tools. For those of you who don't know, I'm using Ghosty for my Claude Code terminal. It allows you to do split panes. I usually have 3 to 4 panes open with 4 different Claude Code agents, but you can separate it up to 8 or 12, I believe, as many as you want. So I'll usually have like concurrent projects running in here, and I'll have a few just different random ones for random use cases. One thing I've noticed and learned over this last week, make sure to rename your Claude Code instances. For example, I have this one, a CMUX fork, and I have this as Snapper. That way, if you lose your session for any reason or exit, you can resume into that same session. This is something I learned way too late. I learned it this week, and I wish I'd known sooner because it's really annoying to have to reload the context every single time. Next, for those of you who have seen my rants on either Twitter or LinkedIn, Anthropic pretty drastically reduced the rate limits for their Max plan and Pro users during peak hours from about, I think it's 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is, the day for me. So I was coding this morning and I hit my rate limits within 30 minutes. Granted, I was using agent teams, which I've done before. I do it all the time. It's never been a problem. But today specifically, I hit these limits within 30 minutes. My entire 5x max plan gone in 30 minutes. So I had to do what I reluctantly didn't want to do. I went over to Codex and I coded with Codex for about an hour or two. But I will say I'm a big fan of the Mac app. It's a really nice interface, as you can see. It's beautifully designed. Pretty simple to use. It's not a terminal, so it's a bit more user friendly. Here you can open up different projects into different folders in your Mac, which is really nice. I like that ability to have it just cleanly on the side here. Also, there's the automations where you can set up cron jobs or reoccurring agents that run each day. This is a feature that I'd like to test more if I get more usage on Codex. Also, they have plugins available, which is your classic MCPs that everyone has that you can connect to, and then new thread is where you create new threads. Pretty self-explanatory, but I'm a fan of it so far. GPT 5.4 has been doing the job for me. It takes a bit more tries than Claude, but it has more of a detail-oriented cadence and it goes a little bit slower, but it's definitely good enough to use as a backup once your Claude usage runs out. I'm a fan of it, looking forward to using it more, and I'm tempted to maybe get another ChatGPT Pro subscription if I need to, if the Anthropic rate limits continue to be absolutely terrible during the day. For any research-based tasks, I've mentioned it before, but Perplexity Computer is incredible. I want to shout out my dad for giving me access to his Perplexity Computer account. If I ever am doing a plan in Claude where I want to pull a lot of information from the online, from other, similar projects or users, I'll go over to Perplexity Computer. Perplexity Computer is the best for, in my opinion, for getting sentiment analysis, scraping places like X or Reddit and GitHub, and pulling that information into one, because it does a really good job of doing parallel research across multiple websites and synthesizing it into one good report. And it's a faster and more effective way to research the web, in my opinion, than what's default in Claude Code or Claude. So I'll usually either paste a prompt in here myself or ask Claude, hey, give me a prompt for Perplexity. As you know, Perplexity is the best research AI currently. I would highly recommend Perplexity Computer as a way to research. If you have Perplexity Pro plan and not Perplexity Computer, it's still great, and you can use deep research and other tools like that. Next, I mentioned the next bookmark scraper thread earlier. Here's my database that I've built with Claude of all my X bookmarks. I update this about daily. I have them separated by category and keywords here. I can search them. So it's a nice way to just kind of keep your knowledge that you find online in passing in one spot. Lastly, a really nice markdown editor I've been a fan of for a long time is Typora. Very minimal. As you can see, you just open it up, you type into it. Nothing much to show for, but it's super nice to use. It's great for, helping Claude build plans. You can type into it here. For those of you who don't know, Markdown is the best way to talk to an AI agent because it doesn't waste a lot of extra tokens converting from docs or PDF. So Markdown is the way to talk to agents. But I think that's about it for today. Just want to give you guys a peek into the projects I'm working on currently. They're a bit more long-running projects, but I hope to show you guys some significant progress next week and some more new things. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you as always.